Real ones never break, nah. Real ones never break, nah. Real ones never break. We bend but don't fold. Pressure made diamonds, I was built for the cold. Came from the bottom, now I'm chasing the gold. Heart too solid, I never be so. Yeah, real ones never break, now I never that. Lost it all once, had to.
Hey, Grand Rising, everyone. I pray everyone is doing well. I am doing well myself. So I'm going to do a really quick video. Spirit has guided me to do this video, and the topic is about death. During my spiritual healing, it was intense, right? My stress levels went up extremely high, and I don't think a lot of people talk about that as much as they should. When we're healing, our levels of stress intensify, right? Everything that we have already been doing to unintentionally harm ourselves, it gets really magnified from the healing that we begin to experience, right? So my diet before my healing journey, it wasn't the greatest, right? I was a junk food eater. And it's not that I didn't eat veggies and fruits, it's just that I still ate the junk food in addition to that, right? So I would eat this junk food and I'll have a salad and, some other healthy items and say, hey, I got my nutrients that I needed, right? Now I'm at an age where a lot of that stuff has caught up with me, and the healing actually brought it out even more because my stress levels went up. So during the healing. So now what ended up happening was that I had a very terrifying dream one day. What that dream was about, I could see everything that it was in my room the same way that it was, but it was just darker. Visually, there wasn't a presence, but I could feel a presence, and the presence was death. And it was very terrifying. And I knew that message was for me. And the reason why it was so terrifying, I realize now, is not because death is meant to be scary. It was just because the way that I could potentially die was going to be scary, painful. I was going to bring unnecessary suffering to myself if I didn't change my diet. Like, the diet was big. Like, my ancestors, they were sending me messages. Spirit team was sending me messages. You got to stop eating the stuff that you're eating, So it prompted me to do a head to toe medical check at my doctor's office. I wanted to be checked for everything, and they checked me for everything. And they said I was pretty healthy, right? So I believe that I was catching it right in the beginning stages, because shortly after that dream, I woke up again one day and there was a sensation in my head. I had never experienced this sensation before, but it was very scary. And then shortly I felt like my face beginning to drop. Now, I believe that was a pre-stroke. Based on what I researched about strokes, that's what it was feeling like. I never looked at any of the food labels, and I was just eating very high amounts of sodium. And so this feeling that I felt, it was a very scary feeling. And that was enough for me to totally stop eating chips, because I had a very high addiction to chips. Like early in the morning, because the chips are right there in the refrigerator. Even though I'm making breakfast, I have to munch on some chips. So all that stopped completely. Like, I was running from the chips after that. That's how scared I was of that experience, that feeling of death. And even though I stopped eating the chips, that feeling of death was still there. Like, being fearful of death, like having panic attacks and like dreams, not as intense as that first dream, but there were still some dreams that were connected to death and the uncertainty of death, and everything was just revolving around death, and it was scary, right? The more and more that I improved my diet, I stopped waking up feeling numbness in my fingers and my toes. And it felt great not to feel like that because everything that I was eating was the salt. Like when I'm resting and I can wake up, I can feel everything in my body, how it doesn't feel like it should. But when I'm not eating those things, I'll wake up and feel ready to go, ready to take on the world and everything. What I'm trying to say is, I was also causing anxiety after I was deemed to be healthy by my doctors, right? It was because I didn't just completely stop eating junk food overnight. I did give up the chips, but there was a lot of other things that were not healthy for me that I was still consuming. So as long as I was doing that, there was always these feelings of, you know, I could go any moment because my body is telling me that it can no longer tolerate these types of foods. And then when we learn how to listen to our bodies, these are the beginning red flags here. You know, even though the doctors, they said they didn't find anything, I can feel like the negativity that I'm filling my body up with the nutrients, because they were not nutrients, this junk food that I was eating. So when I totally stopped eating a lot of the candy, the junk, I started to feel so better. And I started watching what I was consuming. If I'm eating sodium, I would count the milligrams, and it made such a huge difference on how I felt. And when my body calmed down and I felt great, it reduced the feelings of anxiety that I had took on because of just concern about the way my body was letting me know, hey, stop eating this junk, because it's going to be soon that, you know, if you don't get it together, that you're going to have an issue here. And the feelings of dying in pain, it went away. It went away. And I'm so grateful that I took my dream seriously, because that was a message from my spirit team to let me know, hey, you came here to do something, right? And you can't do it if you're unhealthy. This is the real life here. And even though it was terrifying, some things are terrifying to let us know how serious it is. It wasn't trying to scare me. It was trying to let me know that, hey, man, this is serious. Stop eating that shit. So I am telling you all this because I've been guided to someone out there now that needs to hear this. And if you're concerned about death and always thinking about death and dying, look at your life. Look at your diet. What are you eating? Are you tracking the sodium that you're eating? Are you watching the sugar that you're consuming? These things are important. When you address these things and you start giving your body exactly what it needs, more fruits and vegetables, healthy protein that your body needs, you're going to start feeling better. And when you can wake up just feeling better, nothing hurts, that's going to help you out a lot. And from my experience, it just helped reduce anxiety because I feel great. If I feel great, why do I have to worry about death? Right? So whoever needs to hear it, you know, one day at a time, but you have to go first and start making changes to ensure that you're going to be healthy. Ashe.